Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook. Facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Remember, as you're making your travel plans for the holidays and the new year, remember JohnnyDollarAir.com. JohnnyDollarAir.com is my Priceline affiliate page. You get all of the benefits of going through Priceline.com, such as being able to name your own price or search from published fares. But part of the purchase price goes to support the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio at no additional cost to you. So remember, when making your travel plans, check JohnnyDollarAir.com first. Well, now it's time for today's episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. The original air date is February the 17th of 1950. The title is The Gravedigger Spade.
Time now for Edmund O'Brien as
Johnny Dollar.
Johnny, how soon can you get out to High Bridge, North Dakota?
North Dakota, huh? In the winter, you guys send me to North Dakota and the summer to Miami, Florida. All right, what's your problem?
We got two old duffers insured for a total of $80,000.
What's the matter? Somebody threatening to kill them?
No, they're threatening to kill themselves.
Edmund O'Brien in another of the adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, National Fidelity Life Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of my expenditures during investigation of your policyholders, Mr. and Mrs. Arbuthnot Trump, or how the following is an accounting of my expenditures during investigation of your policyholders, Mr. and Mrs. Arbuthnot Trump, or how the deeds came near being Trump's. Expense account item 1, $113.52 railroad fare, Hartford, Connecticut to High Bridge, North Dakota. As I walked towards the station in High Bridge, the wind whipped white shawls of snow out of the night and around me like a Spanish dancer, and the raw cold had my teeth acting like inside the shack, I found a pot-bellied stove surrounded by a pot-bellied station master. Hello?
Oh, hello. You are...
Well, I'm the only one got off the train. Can I find a taxi around here?
Yep. As my son gets the mail and freight tucked away, he'll take you. Only won't be any taxi cab. You drive to wherever you're going in the park. By the way, where are you going?
To the Trump residence. You know it?
Yep, I know it. You one of the family?
No, just business.
Oh. Well...
Well, what?
What is your business is none of mine. But, you ever been out there before?
No, I haven't. Why, something wrong?
If it ain't, then everybody in this town is necessary exercise. Jumping to conclusions. Well, here comes the boy. He'll drive you over. Hickey.
Yeah?
Hickey, you got a car for the pong. Go out to Trump place.
Trump place? Well, all right. But, mister, I'll only take you as far as the gate. You say this your first visit, huh? That right, Mr. Dollar?
Right. Hey, how much more we got to go?
Oh, about another mile. You cold?
Cold. Ooh, I'm freezing.
Well, pass your arms around. Keep up circulation.
Hey, does it always get this cold around here?
Nope. Only in the winter.
Say, Hickey.
Yeah?
You mind answering a few more questions?
No, many answers. You're welcome to those.
Well, what about this Trump place? Why is everybody around here scared of it? What is it, a haunted house?
Nope. As far as I know, everybody out there's alive all right. Matter of fact, I'd feel better if some of the things out there was dead.
What do you mean?
Well, past year or so, I've been delivering some packages out there. Boxes coming express on a train. All the way from Africa. Quite a few from India, too. All marked danger. All marked do not open. Deadly. What comes in those boxes is alive.
What about the people, the Trumps themselves?
They look nice enough. Sort of on the old side. Old man Trump looks like a deacon. His wife looks like a deacon's wife. But they never seem to come to town, let alone church. That's funny.
That's so funny.
Well, look, they're on the road. Fresh auto tracks. Only one place to go out this way. Same place you're going. To the Trump house.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Those folks never have. Now, look like they're having a lot. Hey, maybe they're having guests for dinner.
That's right. Maybe they are having guests in for dinner.
I didn't say in for dinner. I said maybe they're having...
Oh, that's some funny joke, that is.
Yeah. Well, here we are, right around the next bend.
Good. I'll tell you what, Hickey. When I get ready for you to drive me back, I'll give you a call on the...
Well, that'll be a good trick if you can do it.
What do you mean?
They don't have no telephone.
Expense account item 2, $1.50 pump. Hybrid station to the gate of the Trump estate where the driver Hickey dumped me off. I used one of the fresh tire tracks as a footpath up the long driveway through the snow. White flakes out of my eyes with my breath. I took inventory of the house. It was big, colonial, and in good repair. All rooms lighted downstairs, one room lighted upstairs. Near the automobile tracks took off around to the back of the house. I had to make my own footsteps in the drifts from there to the front door.
Quickly, don't let that cold in. Let's shut the door. What are you doing here?
I'm Johnny Dollar from the insurance company. As to what I want to see Mr. and Mrs. Trump. As to what I'm doing here, I'm just the victim of a bad choice of careers early in life.
Well, take a seat over there. I'll go check with Mr. and Mrs. Trump. But don't bother taking your coat off. Yes.
So this is Northern hospitality. Coming in out of the cold makes any house seem warm. My overcoat started to steam about 10 seconds after I got inside this one. So did I. Looking around, I saw the reason. They were growing all over the hallway, and orchids grow only in tropical warmth. Despite the invitation not to, I took off my overcoat and waited. After 10 more minutes, I felt like slipping out of my suit, a decision I didn't have time for.
They're just finishing dinner, Mr. Dollar. They suggest you join them for coffee.
Thanks.
Mr. Trump, this is Mr. Dollar.
How do you do?
How are you, Mrs. Trump?
Won't you join? There, sit right over there.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, come and sit down. Have some coffee.
Oh, thank you.
Fine. Now that'll be all there when you may leave.
Well.
Fine. Now, sugar and cream.
No, thank you, Mrs. Trump. This will be all right, just the way it is.
Well, Mr. Dollar, I assume you got the necessary papers?
Yes, I did. They're in my pocket all ready for your signature.
Good. We'll sign them right away.
I was hoping you wouldn't sign them, at least until I've had a chance to talk to you about it.
Talk? What is there to talk about?
I hope you understand that, well, it isn't every day that an insurance company gets a letter from a pair of stating that they are both planning to commit suicide.
Oh, no?
No.
Well, I suppose it is a bit out of the usual run of things, but they do about it. My goodness, we checked with our lawyer.
And he said we were perfectly within our rights.
Well, granted, you've had the policy a long, long time, and the suicide clause is no longer in effect. However, well, frankly, the company did think that while I was arranging the change of beneficiary you requested, I could also talk you into changing your mind.
Mr. Dollar, you might just as well save your breath. Our minds are made up.
Mrs. Dollar, as soon as we get those change of beneficiary papers signed, we intend to dispose of our health.
Well,
And furthermore, young men, within the past 48 hours, we have had ourselves thoroughly examined by a board of extremely well-alists who signed documentary proof that we are both perfectly safe. So there is nothing you can do to stop us in that direction.
But why? Why do you want to do this? Now, you don't look unhappy.
We have not had an extremely happy life, haven't we, Mr. Trump?
Indeed, we have, Mrs. Trump. And that's just it. You see, Mr. Dollar, we both feel that having enjoyed such a beautiful life, we owe something. And finally, we have evolved a method of paying our debt. In doing what we intend to do, we shall leave to the world the beginning of a new humanity.
What's the matter with the old one?
Nothing. But it is doomed to extinction. Mr. Dollar, just think for yourself. Atom bombs, hydrogen bombs, biological warfare.
And don't forget the flying saucers, Mr. Trump.
Don't forget, indeed, unknown objects hurtling through space, interplanetary traffic. Dear, dear. A prelude to invasion and destruction.
Now, wait a minute. How do you know? Who told you?
Mr. Dollar, Mr. Trump knows these things. He was a professor for many years, and he reads all the time. He knows all right.
Would you mind pouring me some of that coffee, Mrs. Trump?
Not at all. There.
Thank you. Mr. Trump, granted we're all doomed for extinction, how is taking yourself off going to help? If you just stick it out, you'll not only enjoy a bit more time alive, but you'll also be around to see the fireworks.
You will notice, Mr. Dollar, the beneficiary in our policies from our niece, Miss Hope Selden, to the young man who let you in here tonight, Mr. Irwin Harper.
Yes, I noticed that. And I also noticed that this young man isn't even related to you. Now, what's that all about?
The frivolous girl. She laughed at us and we tried to tell her what's happening. Irwin is a serious-minded young man who will use the money brought to this household by us to make the down payment on a new human race.
Mrs. Trump, do you happen to have any brandy around?
Later, Mr. Dollar, later. You want to know why and how. Well, we'll show you.
A nightmare is bad enough when you're asleep, but I was awake, and that's when they're really frightening. They took me down through the back of the house to a winding, half-lighted stairway into the belly of the black hole. The oppressive heat grew even more oppressive. More stairs, then tunnels. All the ceilings cement, lead. All the walls covered with pens and cages, and all of them filled with
snakes, Mr. Dollar, reptiles, hundreds of them, every species, every variety. Look at them. Look at them and look at them well, for here is the new beginning. When life as we know it is blasted off the face of this earth, either by man himself or by his planetary cousins, then these shall be the inheritors of this global sphere, as they were in the beginning, according to the Meston theory as set down in 1903.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, Mr. Trump knows these, you see.
No, I've got to admit I don't quite see.
You will. There. Look. Every pen, every cage is equipped with an automatic feeding device. Stored above the cages is enough scientific to keep these reptiles alive for 100 years if need be. Until the Holocaust, they will be cared for by young Harper.
I could use some old Harper myself.
When the Holocaust comes, Irwin hive as long as possible. Then the machines will take over. The reptiles will be fed. And when the recording devices up on top say that the radioactivity and magnetic forces have been dissipated, the doors into the earth above shall be automatically projected outdoors, and the cycle will be complete. Then the reptiles will be set free on the face of the earth to once again evolve them into the new humanity.
I see. Look, Mr. Trump, I'm out here to ask you a very simple question. What's all this got to do with your committing suicide?
That is easily answered, Mr. Dollar. We need money. We need a lot of money to buy the rest of the equipment. We are willing to give up the little that is left of our lives to provide. Irwin will remain behind to put our money to good use.
Mr. and Mrs. Trump, I don't question your motives, but you can't blame me for taking a second look at your methods. This man springing from reptile theory is flimsy enough, but that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But what you're not entitled to, I'm quoting the Bible and the law, is the act of taking your own lives.
We've talked that over among us, and we are willing to take our chances.
All right. But at least you'll agree this is a holding, isn't it? Now let me bring these papers back in the morning. We can talk it over once more, and then you're free to go ahead and sign them.
Well, the time is short, but I don't think a few hours. Do you agree, Mrs. Trump?
Yes, I agree.
Good. Now, if you'll be kind enough to either let me have a car or have somebody drive me into town.
Car? We haven't had one for months, and we borrowed them from the property. Hasn't been one past the gate for almost a year.
Oh? Including tonight?
Yes, of course, including tonight. I have to stay here.
Come now. We'll take you up to your room, Mr. Dollar. What you need is a good night's sleep.
I'd have had a better night's sleep on a tightrope. My room had the same sticky, hot air that filled the rest of the house. It may be great for snakes and orchids, but I'll take my steaming at a Turkish bed. I stretched out on the bed, turned off the lamp, and closed my eyes. But for 20 straight minutes, I could still see ghost automobiles and snakes and more snakes. My eyes closed as much as I could, because when they were open, I could see on the wall the serpentine shadows of the tree branches outside. At least, I hoped that's what they were. Then, just as I was hoping the hardest, that the realest of them, what it looked like, out of the blackness from across the room, I heard. I reached down under the bed for a shoe. Not much of a weapon, but all I could think of at the moment. Then I snapped on the lamp and saw it. It had plenty of coils, all right, but it was strictly non-venomous. The steam radiator standing there hissing my performance. But my nerve ends didn't even have a chance to lie down. They were still standing straight up when it happened. I was out of bed, across the room, and out into the hall in slightly more time than it takes to tell. Light from my open door fell across a jumbled pile of beautiful young women. I bent over her and...
In just a moment, we will return to the second act of Johnny Dollar. But first... Now, with our star Edmund O'Brien, we return to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
walking in your sleep. What did he say, Mrs. Trump?
Santa Claus out here taking care of me.
Oh. Yeah, somebody's been taking care of me, all right. Oh. Well, where is she, huh? She's gone. What have you done with her? Come on now, where's the...
Mr. Dollar, you better get hold of yourself. There is no girl here.
Oh, no? Well, look, earlier tonight you told me there was no automobile around here, but there... I saw the tracks in the driveway with my own eyes. I walked in one of them.
All right. Look out window, Mrs. Trump.
No, I don't.
Do you see any footprints?
No, nothing, just snow.
Okay. At least you know I walked up that driveway, right? And my footprints are covered up. So it's been snowing, been drifting. Now I suppose you're going to tell me you didn't hear the girls scream.
Come now, Mr. Dollar. You were having a nightmare. No girls scream.
Well, if you didn't hear anything, what are you doing out here? What brought you?
Young man, we have a rider in our own home we choose to be. But I might as well tell you, I found you when I started with the kitchen, getting crackers and warm milk. I found you lying here.
Yeah, I was here.
Young man, that does it. Once we get those papers signed, I'm afraid we shall have to ask you to leave.
That's all right with me. They're here in my room. Come on.
The way some people stand in the way of the few of us who are makes them sustain some kind of life on
Yes, Mr. Trump, you're absolutely.
You'll find a pen there on the table. The papers are right here on my... Hey.
Yes, Mr. Dollar?
The papers are gone.
Can they be gone if you brought them at all?
We warn you, Mr. Dollar, we will not stand for any more of your dilly-dallying. We want those papers, and now. We are determined to sign them immediately.
That has become my fondest hope. Now do us all a favor. Go back to bed. And give me a chance to do a little walking in your sleep.
Yes, who is it? Dollar, what do you mean barging in here?
I'm looking for a girl, and I'll admit this is a very unlikely place to find her.
My bedroom.
You realize how suspicious you look just lying there in bed?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that about 15 minutes ago, a woman screamed at the top of her lungs not 20 feet from here. Now, what's your story? That you didn't hear it? Or does it happen around here all the time?
You didn't hear any woman scream, and I don't think you did.
Okay, have it your way. I'm hearing things. But one thing I know, I'm not feeling things. See here? There's a lump on my head. Real.
That doesn't interest me a bit.
If I find out you put it there, it'll interest you. I'll knock your skull. I'll make a whole omelet. In case you don't know it, you're looking at a citizen who's burned up. M-A-D. Mad. From there, I started through the rest of the rooms in the house. I thought I knew who I was looking for. The only person I could think of who would profit by seeing those papers not signed. The present beneficiary of the Trump policy, their niece. All I could find in the next 6 bedrooms was a lot of old-fashioned furniture. I was just looking under the bed in the last when the wind outside took on a new note. My own room flung open the window and stuck my head out into trying to get a look in the direction of the noise. I wasn't taking any chances on that killer finally sparking the automobile into life before I had a chance to see who was in it. Swung my feet over the sill and dropped the one story into a high drift.
Come on. Come on.
Passing a time. Around here, people only go for sleigh rides.
What do you want? Who are you?
You should know. You had your hand in my coat pocket earlier tonight. Of course, unfortunately, I wasn't in the coat, but something else was. And I want it back.
If I took anything, I had plenty of reason and plenty of right to do it.
The only one taking things out of my pocket is the cleaner when he's filling out the tobacco crumbs. Now, come on, give me those pieces.
No, just let me talk to you first. I want you to hear my side of things.
Look, I'm freezing. If it takes more than 5 minutes, you gotta say no dice.
Well, then let's go back in the house. I know you'll believe me.
I saw plenty about her to interest me, but nothing to relax me. She looked like a big-time operator, a gal who would be as dangerous kissing you as killing you. As I closed the door behind us, she walked across the room and made a perfectly natural movement, as though to throw open her coat. When she turned, she had a gun in her hand. It was the first time I'd ever seen a shoulder holster on a woman.
Now put your hands up, Mr. Dollar, and listen.
If you'll just unwrap your fingers, I'll be more likely to keep my mind on what you're saying. Go ahead. I'm listening.
You've got to help me.
Help you?
Yes, help me prevent my aunt and uncle from making fools of themselves. We can't let them leave their money to Erwin Harper.
Well, it's their money. They're attempting, well, what they believe is right.
That money is mine, and I'll kill anyone to get it. Erwin Harper won't stick around 5 minutes after my aunt and uncle have killed themselves. He isn't planning on taking care of their filthy snakes. I was in his room tonight after he went to sleep. In his part of South America, his plans were all made. He caught me in there and chased me out in the hall and slugged me. When I came to, you were lying there unconscious beside me. I ran downstairs and I fixed their scheme. I threw the switch to release their stinking. By now, the snakes are all outside, freezing to death.
Don't move. You don't want to move. So now you know, both of you. What that means? I'll have to kill you both, and I'll get away with it.
Why, you miserable hunk of putty.
The Trumps want me to have the money, not you. I worked out that whole plan for them, all of it. And I'm the one they want to take care of it. Now drop that gun, Hope.
You'd better drop it, Hope. It doesn't make any difference anyway.
What do you mean it won't make any difference?
Because our friend over there isn't going to pull the trigger.
Oh, no? And why not?
Because Hope has released all those snakes. One thing she forgot. When snakes get cold, they try to get warm. Some just joined the party. He's right behind you, Erwin.
I believe you. You're bluffing.
Can't you hear him?
You can't fool me. That's a steam radiator. In this house, they're all noisy.
Erwin, if you make any kind of a move, he's going to strike. I'll make you a deal. Let me reach down and get that gun off the floor. I'll blast its head off. Careful. Don't move, Erwin.
No, you don't. I know what you want that gun for.
I wouldn't even turn around and look, Erwin.
Not only going to move, I'm going to get the gun out of your reach.
There was a snake.
Look out, he's on the loose.
Oh, he got me! The bushmaster! Most of them all.
Well, you've got the gun. Go on, shoot him.
Howard, shoot him!
All right. That's him. But you're not staying behind me to get you. This is for you!
Mr. and Mrs. Arbuthnot Trump, beneficiaries, to say nothing of snakes. The only one that found his way back into the warmth of the house was the one I'd mistaken for a steam radiator. And without a handy method for creating a new humanity, found themselves without a purpose. So I gave them one. At my suggestion, and at the moment, Mr. T is hard at work in his home laboratory, attempting to develop a machine with which mankind can saucer. Mr. Trump's invention will be known as the Flying Cup, and will be secretly dedicated to a waitress I once knew. Expense account, item 3, $113 in Fifth Road Fare, High Bridge, North Dakota to Hartford, Connecticut. Expense account total, $763.90. You may say this doesn't add up, but neither does anything else about this case. Signed, truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and is written by Paul Dudley and Gil Dowd with music by Lee Stevens. Edmund O'Brien can currently be seen starring Hopkins United Artists production DOA. Featured in our cast were Peggy Weber, Harley Bear, Hugh Thomas, Dick Ryan, Jess Kirkpatrick, and Mary Shipp. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. Truly, Johnny Dollar meets adventure every Friday night. The Columbia Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, a lot to say about this episode. I guess starting off with one small detail, I really kind of question Johnny's decision to go by train from Hartford to North Dakota in the winter. True enough, Johnny would not be able to directly get from by plane from Hartford to this small town, in North Dakota. But it would probably have made more sense and just been more efficient overall to fly from Hartford into Minneapolis, and then from Minneapolis catch the train to North Dakota. Particularly, you're talking about traveling in the winter, so you could get held up for days when you're planning a trip of that length. And Johnny does really tend to take planes more often than not, so this was an interesting choice. There's a lot of really good elements to this story. I think that they did a pretty fantastic job setting all of the atmosphere with so many mysteries, and O'Brien, I think, really did do some good acting to convey his discomfort and his real concern about what's going on. Plus, you also have kind of an extreme take on some of the more troubling headlines of the day and what to do about it. I will say that this script does feel like it was written more for Charles Russell, particularly with his flipping on the couple committing suicide. That's not something that I think would be true to what we would see later on from Edmund O'Brien, but that does feel like the sort of very flippant, reactive sort of thing that Charles Russell's version of Johnny Dollar would do. Also worth noting, the couple, of course, do have a last name that's very famous right now. I didn't even mention it with the first time we played this back in 2010. But this isn't the only time that Johnny Dollar has had a name like this. There is an episode during the Bob Bailey era known as the Jimmy Carter era, and that doesn't have anything to do with the political version either. All right, well, listener comments and feedback, and a nice tweet in celebration of our 3000th episode. Ryan writes over on Twitter, "Amazing! 3,000 episodes! Congratulations, Adam. Well done, and thank you for making this podcast. Thoroughly enjoyed, and it is the only thing I listen to in my car." Well, thank you so much, Ryan. Appreciate your comments. And I also want to go ahead and thank our Patreon supporter of the day. And thank you to Keith. Keith has been one of our Patreon supporters since February 2017, currently supporting us at the Shamus level of $4 or more per month. Thanks so much for your support, Keith. And that will actually do it for today. Join us back here tomorrow for Dragnet. Next Friday, another episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. In the meantime, send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.